Dublin, about 3 kilometres from Dublin City, home to Kilmainham Jail and the Royal Kilmainham Hospital. Hope you're all doing well, folks. Say hello, so I know who's on here. Hi, Catherine. Catherine, how are you? Good to see you. Catherine always says hello to me. It's saying that there's 5 people here, so I don't know if anybody else is going to come on. Hopefully there'll be a few more. I hope you're doing well, Catherine. It's a very changeable day here today. It's sunny and blue skies 1 minute, and drizzle and rain and cloudy the next minute. Typical Irish weather. I suppose it's typical UK weather as well, where you don't know what's going to happen next. Ada girl, how are you? Good to see you. Shelley, how are you? Hope you're well. We'll just wait a few minutes before a few more people can come on, and we'll get started then. I'm great, thanks, Shelley. Very good. It's just saying to Catherine there, it's a very different. Sarah, how are you? Good to see you. It's kind of a weird day out today, as I say. Well, it's typical, I wouldn't say weird, it's typical Irish kind of weather, where it's sunny and blue skies 1 minute and then drizzle and raining the next minute. That's the way it's been all day so far, so hopefully we get through this tour with just blue skies. I've scheduled this tour for about an hour, but I doubt we're gonna. It's 19 Fahrenheit this AM here. We're in Philadelphia. 19, wow, it's freezing then, what? It's probably about 8 degrees here, Celsius, probably about, I don't know, 54 maybe Fahrenheit. It's 19, my God, that's really, really cold. Hopefully we'll get warmer soon. We'll just wait and see if a few more people come on before we get started live. It's supposed to be 50 by end of the week. So weird, yeah. It is, it's just crazy temperatures. But I know there in the northeast, I used to live on the northeast in US, Boston and New York, Annapolis in Maryland, and I know it's pretty cold there during the winter, January and February, but really warm during the summer. We don't get any exchange. Ronnie, how you doing? Good to see you. We don't get too many extremes here, so it's never too cold, never too hot. It looks a lot hotter and warmer than it is out right now, but the sun is shining, which is pretty cool. And but hopefully it will stay. As I said, it's very, very changeable. It's 22 Fahrenheit. Wow, very cold in upstate New York. Where's that? Rochester, isn't it, Ronnie? Rochester, New York, upstate. Martin, how are you? Good to see you. Hope you're well. Natalie, how are you? Great to see you. Hope you're well. Welcome here to Kilmainham. Kilmainham is about 3 kilometres from Dublin City, and we're going to show you around a little bit of the Royal Kilmainham Hospital, and also we'll take a look. We're not going inside because they won't let us inside to film, but it's a very, very famous tourist attraction here, and it's full of history, and that's Kilmainham Jail right here in front of me, Kilmainham Jail. So we'll get started, folks, because we're a few minutes in. We're about 4 minutes in to the beginning of the tour, and hopefully some other people will. I think I got 13 on right so far. Maybe a few other people will join us as we go along. So just to tell you about this area right here, folks, I'm sure some of you may have heard of Kilmainham Jail before. Well, this is it right here. And it opened in 1796. And originally public hangings took place right here at the front of the prison, just as we're coming up to right now. And but then from the 1820s onwards, very few hangings, public or private, took place here at Kilmainham. But a small hanging cell was built in the prison in 1891. Now, originally there was no segregation of prisoners, where men, women and children were incarcerated up to 5 in each cell, with only a single candle for light and heat. And most of the time was spent in the cold and the dark. And each candle had to last for 2 weeks. So if the candle burned out before the 2 weeks, you were in darkness. the whole time. So you'd have no heat from the candle. It'd be freezing, freezing cold. And you also would have no light at all. So you had to make it last. Now each cell was roughly about 28 square meters in area. And children were sometimes arrested for petty theft. The youngest said to be a 7-year-old child, while many of the adult prisoners were transported to Australia on prison ships. And many were given life sentences of hard labour, although many were eventually released after a number of years. And this is why you have so many Irish Australians. I think it could be 20% of all Australians claim Irish heritage, just like the United States and Canada. A huge portion of the immigrant communities got Irish backgrounds. And a lot of these prisoners that were serving hard labour, that were originally here at this prison, that were shipped off on prison ships to Australia, became very, very successful people. Some of them became governors of provinces there and what have you as well. Some left Australia and went to America, including Joseph Marr. And he became governor of Montana. But he was imprisoned here and was shipped off to Australia first, and he managed to escape. So there was a whole bunch of these prisoners that were imprisoned here that actually escaped when they were in Australia. And they went on to become, as I say, very successful people. Many of them went to live in the United States, and many of them became very successful in Australia itself. So just a little backstory there as regards that. Now, as early as 1809, it was observed by the inspector that male prisoners were supplied with iron bedsteads while women lay on straw. Here's another part of the jail right here. Now, during the Great Famine here in Ireland, which was between 1845 and 1852, Kilmainham jail was overwhelmed with the increase of prisoners, because many people who were starving would deliberately commit crimes, so they would be imprisoned and be guaranteed at least one meal a day. It was also here at the prison that the leaders of the 1916 Easter Rising were imprisoned and executed by firing squad in the courtyard of the prison, including Padraig Pearse and James Connolly, two of the leaders of the 1916 Easter Rising. As I say, they met their death right here, and then they were thrown into a grave not far from here, Arbor Hill. It was one grave for all of the leaders of the 1916 Easter Rising. They were just thrown in there, and in an unmarked grave. It was for years and years before they found out where they were actually buried. But it's Arbor Hill, as I say, not too far from here. My buddy Tony's on. Tony, how are you? Good to see you. Get excited. That guy wants to be on camera. He's beeping us here. There you go. Now, the prison was decommissioned as a prison in 1924. But today, it's a museum. And it's one of Ireland's most visited tourist attractions right here. Unfortunately, I'd love to bring you in and show you the old cells and so forth, and where they actually housed the 1916, the jail cells of the 1916 Easter Rising. But unfortunately, they won't let you film inside here, which is a shame. But you might have heard the song Grace. It's a great Irish song called Grace. You might have heard it on with the Irish Celts singing it at Darky Kelly's. Well, Grace, the story of Grace, is about one of the 1916 leaders. His name is Joseph Plunkett, and he was engaged to a lady called Grace Gifford. And before the 1916 Easter Rising was to take place, they were supposed to get married. But then the fighting started, the war started, so the wedding was kind of called off. But then, as I say, he was imprisoned. He surrendered and was imprisoned, Joseph Plunkett. And in his jail cell, shortly before he was executed, he got the opportunity to marry Grace Gifford. Hence the song Grace. If you know the melody, or if you know the lyrics to that song, it tells the whole story of them getting married in the chapel, the prison chapel. And then, as soon as the prison or as soon as the wedding ceremony was over at the chapel, he was brought back to his cell, and she was allowed to spend 10 more minutes with him, and then she left, only to find the next day that he was executed. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that story, although a very sad story. Lots of our history here, folks, is very, very sad, because we were constantly at war with Britain, and there was, as I say, lots of wars, all to try and gain independence. But these guys of 1916, they paved the way for us to get independence, because it was only 6 years later we actually did get our independence. Here's the Hilton Hotel at Kilmainham Jail. There you go. I'm just going to check and see if there's any Tony's excited. Maybe he was excited about that story. How dare you, Tony, get excited about a very sad story. This is Inchicore Road right here of Dublin 8 here in Kilmainham. I got a frog stuck in my throat. Hold on a second, folks. Let me cough. Sorry. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you very much. Here's a great pub right here called the Patriots Inn. I was just in there to have a cup of coffee. At least they were able to get married, yes, Sarah. So if you want to look up the song Grace, it's an absolutely beautiful song, and you'll be able to see it on YouTube. And there's many performers have sang it. The best one is the original singer, Jim McCann, that sang Grace. It's a beautiful song, but if you listen to the lyrics, you'll understand the whole story of him. So this is the entrance right here, folks, into the Royal Kilmainham Hospital, which we're going into next, as soon as I get a green light. And also in here is, you'll see signs for the IMMA, which is the Irish Museum of Modern Art, which is in here as well. We won't go inside, but we'll show you from the outside. It's quite a long stretch of a walk through this avenue up to the buildings itself, the old hospital. But we'll show you around here as well. Now, there is 2 graveyards. One is on the left-hand side as I walk, and one is on the right-hand side. And they couldn't be more different, these graveyards. And I'll tell you that in just a little bit. So good to be with you again. Hey Janice, how are you? Good to see you. Hi Nan, great to see you. Hope you're doing well. Diane, how are you? Said he never been to Dublin, but he said the British didn't open the gates and letting them, oh, I missed that, and letting them out of their neighbourhood. Legal travel to the south was mostly prohibited. Janice, with snowy Cape Cod. It's snowing in Cape Cod. I spent a lot of time in Cape Cod in my youth. Stayed in Dennisport with a friend of mine one time for a good bit. Had another friend of mine that lived in Sandwich. We used to go to a pub in Falmouth called the Four Provinces. Was it? No, it wasn't the Four Provinces. No, the Irish Embassy. The Irish Embassy in Falmouth. That's what it is. Satyam, how are you? Good to see you. Yes, Janice, thank you. I missed you too. Good to see you back. Hope you're doing well. Now, as I just mentioned there a little bit ago, folks, on the left-hand side is Dublin's oldest graveyard. Now, we're not going to be able to go inside because it's closed. It's all closed up. But it's known as Bully's Acre. 3.7 acres of this graveyard right here. And there's been a graveyard on this spot for over 1,000 years. How about that, folks? For over 1,000 years, there's been a graveyard right on this spot, and it's believed to hold the graves of some of those killed at the Battle of Clontarf in 1014. Now, the Battle of Clontarf in 1014 was the war with Brian Boru, the High King of Ireland, and against the Vikings, and he was the first army to defeat the Vikings, Brian Boru's army. Now, who's buried here? Actually, Brian Boru's son and his grandson are buried right here, and over time became more famous as a paupers cemetery, as the land was believed to be common ground and no charges were required for burials. But also many respectable Catholic citizens were buried here, as after the Reformation under Henry VIII, when Ireland and Britain broke away from the authority of the Pope and the Catholic Church, there was no official Catholic graveyard in the city. And in the 18th century, the cemetery fell into decay, and it was a favourite target of body snatchers. You can't see too many of the graves in here. I hope you can see a few. It's like 3.5 kilometres, so 3.7 acres, sorry, 3.7 acres in here. And you can see some of the graves right there, but this is Dublin's oldest graveyard. You might have been on another tour of mine in the village of Donnybrook in Dublin, and that is the second oldest graveyard in Dublin, but this is the oldest, Bullyacre. So let's just read about it here, folks, on this plaque. The burial grounds in the land of the Royal Hospital comprised of Bully's Acre and two military cemeteries, the private burial grounds which adjoins the northern end of Bullyacre, and the official burial ground which is separated from Bully Acres by the Western Avenue. One of Dublin's oldest cemeteries, well, it is the oldest cemeteries when I looked it up. Bully's Acre featured a large 10th century decorated granite cross shaft, possibly the remains of the boundary cross of Termon, associated with St Maighneann's monastery, founded in 606 AD. According to tradition, Brian Boru camped here before the Battle of Clontarf in 1014, and tradition also claims that following the battle, the bodies of his slain son Murroch and his grandson Turlock were interred near the cross. Dan Donnelly, the boxer, was also buried here, as was Robert Emmett, whose remains lay overnight pending removal at an unknown resting place. Yeah, they actually never found Robert Emmett's grave. He was the leader of the 1803 revolution. So the burial ground was in use from the time of St Maighneann up to the year of the Great Cholera epidemic in 1832, when it was closed to the general public. It contains the remains of monks, knights, princes and Dublin citizens. It was popular with the poor, as was the common ground where burial could be performed without charge. Traders, merchants and wealthy citizens were also buried here, attached to the holy ground associated with the monastery. Only about 70 tombstones now remain, ranging in date from 1764 to 1832. The majority of those buried in Bully's Acre were poor, and their graves left unmarked. Just to show you that. Now, right across the way from Bully's Acre here is the military graveyard for the British soldiers, because the Royal Kilmainham Hospital was set up by the British to house retired British soldiers. I'll tell you about that in just a little bit. So this is the, can you see it? I've got the sun in my eyes. It's probably in your eyes too. Yeah, the sun is strong. I'll get out of the sun there, right there. So this is the graveyard for the British military officers. Let's read it here. The officers' burial ground. This is separated from the private burial ground by the Western Avenue. It is used for the deceased officers who were in pensioners of the hospital. It also contains the oldest legible civilian headstone, which is inscribed, "Here lit the body of Hive, Hugh Hackett and Elizabeth Hackett, who died in the year 1652. The oldest legible military tombstones that of Corporal William Proby, who died 28th of July 1700. He was a veteran of Ormond's Wars, having served as a musketeer at the Battle of Bagarath and was wounded while serving under Schomberg at the Battle of the Boyne. There you go, folks. Maybe you can take a screenshot of that and you can read it a little bit later. So there you go, side by side, two graveyards, one for the commoners, the poor Catholic people of Dublin, and the other for the British military officers, many of whom spent the last portion of their lives here at the Royal Kilmainham Hospital. So just to tell you the story of the Royal Kilmainham Hospital. Jared's on, is he? No way. Curious Tales and Tours. How you doing, Jared? How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you, Daddy. So, of course, Jared is a new dad. Himself and his wife, Catherine, or his partner, Catherine. They had a baby just before Christmas. And it's a wonderful thing. Congratulations once again, Jared. Great to see you on here. Hope you're doing well. So, just to tell you a little bit about the Royal Kilmainham Hospital. It was built by Sir William Robinson in 1680. And there was an early Christian settlement here, founded in the 7th century. Excuse me. I got something caught in my throat, folks. Hold on. I should have brought some water with me. Sorry. There was an early Christian. Great to hear your voice, mate. Jeez, it's not doing too well right now, Jared. I've got something caught in my throat. So, let me just start again. The Royal Kilmainham Hospital was built by Sir William Robinson in 1680, and there was an early Christian settlement here, founded in the 7th century by St Maighneann. And a new priory was founded here in 1174 by Richard de Clare, also known as Strongbow. He's actually buried in Christchurch. His tomb lies in rest in Christchurch Cathedral. Richard de Clare, he was a Norman warlord. The priory was under the control of the Knights Hospitaller of St John of Jerusalem. And during the Reformation, it was dissolved and the lands confiscated by the Crown. So, these lands would have belonged to a monastery. There would have been a monastery here way back with, as I say, St Maighneann. But during the Reformation, which began in 1538 under the rule of Henry VIII, all the Catholic monasteries and abbeys throughout the country and churches were all closed down as Henry VIII had started the new religion, Anglican religion, and he tried to convert everybody to that. So many of the monasteries, as I say, they were banished, they were closed down, and a lot of these monks and priests and so forth, they fled Ireland, and they set up Catholic monasteries all across the world, and Catholic churches and abbeys and what have you. So they had to travel. Now, during the Reformation, it was dissolved, as I said, and the lands were confiscated by the Crown. The priory was used as a county residence by the viceroys. The viceroy would have been the representative of the king or queen at the time, until 1617, when they moved to a residence in present-day Phoenix Park. After the restoration of Charles II, the viceroy, the Duke of Ormond, enabled the founding here of a hospital and retirement home for old British soldiers, similar to the Hotel des Invalides in Paris. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. It's supposed to be a French word. Hotel des Invalides in Paris. The building catered for up to 300 residents right here at the Royal Kilmainham Hospital, but this swelled up to 2,500 when British troops were quartered here to quench the 1916 rebellion. Now, the building served its purpose until 1927, by which time Ireland gained its independence in 1922, and the remaining soldiers were relocated to Chelsea Hospital in London. The building was subsequently used by the Garda, which is the Irish police, and the National Museum before being renovated and opened as the Irish Museum of Modern Art in 1990. And today it is run by the OPW, the Office of Public Works. Now we're going to go through to the courtyard here of the Royal Kilmainham Hospital, and we'll also show you some really nice sculptures around the courtyard and other parts of the grounds here. And then we'll finish off in the beautiful formal gardens a little bit later. Now, I did schedule this tour for an hour, but I don't think I'll get an hour in. Probably more like 40 minutes or so. So, in recent years, the Royal Kilmainham Hospital has been a venue for concerts and during the summer months and even weddings. So just to basically recap, the Kilmainham Hospital was basically, as I say, a retirement home for soldiers of the British Army. And the hospital was constructed on a site already layered with over 1,000 years of human activity. Ancient burial grounds, early Christian monuments, a Viking settlement and a medieval monastery all feature in the early heritage of this site. And generations of military soldiers lived and died here at the hospital in its 250-year history. So the hospital, 250 years old. But the site itself, much, much larger. So this is the IMMA, and this is the Irish Museum of Modern Art. It's huge, yeah. It's a massive area, yeah. There's so many of these. There's so many castles in Ireland. There's so many great heritage buildings full of Irish culture and history. And Dublin has just a plethora of them. And you've seen many of them on my tours, and you just were spoiled for choice of the amount of places that we can go to. Now, as I said before, this is the Irish Museum of Modern Art. We're not going inside. They won't let me film in here because it's paintings and what have you. They're afraid of you flashing in there. They won't let you do that. There's also a museum in here as well. I'll bring you over there and just show it you in a little bit. So also known as the IMMA, Irish Museum of Modern Art. It's Ireland's leading national institution for the collection and presentation of modern and contemporary art. And the museum presents a wide variety of art in a changing programme of exhibitions which regularly includes bodies of work from its own collection and its education and community departments. The museum's mission is to foster within society an awareness, understanding and involvement in the visual arts through policies and programmes, which are excellent, innovative and inclusive. It also aims to create more widespread access to art and artists through its studio and national programmes. And the IMA is free. The IMMA is free to actually enter. That's funny. So Terry says, that's funny, you are right. I didn't see it until you said that his shadow looked like the Grim Reaper. It began around the same time that America gained independence 250 years ago. There you go, Ronnie. Yes, indeed. Just let me read some of these. I haven't asked permission to go into these places. I wonder would they let me sneak in here. That could throw me out though, because this one tells you the whole history of the Royal Hospital. Okay, listen, I'm going to sneak in here, right? I am not going to talk, all right? The West Ground Galleries, the old man's house, the history of the Royal Hospital. So I'm going in here. I'm going to keep quiet. Otherwise, they're going to throw me out. Maybe it's not even open. Hold on. It's not even open. Oh, it is open. I was pushing instead of pulling. Here's the timeline. St Patrick brings Christianity to Ireland. Monastery established by St Maighneann. So look, 606 when this was established right here. Brian Boru defeats the Vikings in the Battle of Clontarf. Prior the Knights Hospitallers founded at Kilmainham, 1174. Look, what's the worst that can happen? They throw me out, right? Who cares? I'll probably be able to fit in an hour now. It'll probably go over the hour. This could be the guy Robinson, Sir William Robinson. He's the guy that, the architect. I think that's him. The old man's house. Hospital's grounds have a rich and varied history that stretches back through the centuries. Tarmac over soldiers that present the hospital was constructed on a site already layered with over 1,000 years of human activity. ancient burial grounds, early Christian monuments, a Viking settlement, and a medieval monastery, all featured in the early heritage of the site. During the nearly 250 years that the Royal Hospital was used as a military pensions home, generations of veterans lived and died here, and they have left their mark. This exhibition explores the stories of these soldiers alongside the history of the hospital and its environs, from the earliest beginnings through its restoration and the founding of the Irish Museum of Modern Art. There you go, get excited. Laying foundations, the architects and architecture. Here's a map of it. So there's the map of the Royal Kilmainham Hospital and the grounds. Please keep off the grass. There's not much of a grass there, is there? Anyway. The Great Hall and Portrait Collection. You're very popular, Ronnie. The chapel. So there's a lovely chapel here as well. I don't think that's open. The Roman Catholic chapel. The chapel scene, the stained glass. Of course, there's so many beautiful churches with just amazing stained glass. Much of the stained glass is done by Ireland's greatest ever stained glass artist, Harry Clark. The history of the pensioners. Here we go, look. So this is where they were, folks, before they went to Chelsea. The Chelsea pensioners, of course, I mean, massively popular. But the Irish British Army pensioners were here, originally here, before they went on to Chelsea. Life at the Royal Hospital. The Royal Hospital was a retirement home and nursing home where the in-pensioners were fed, clothed and received medical attention. Military rules were followed at all times, and there was a special in-pensioners uniform, hospital staff including doctors, nurses, cooks and housekeepers, as well as barbers for shaving the soldiers. For the recreation in fine weather, the pensioners walked the spacious grounds and down the tree-lined West Avenue to the Richmond Tower at the west entrance of the hospital grounds. Sunday morning saw a church parade with bands playing in the courtyard and friends and family coming to visit the pensioners. On the death of an in-pensioner, he was given a free military funeral that included a band and a gun salute. There you go. Form of application showing information required from an out-pensioner of Chelsea Hospital who wishes to become a candidate for admission to the in-pension of the Royal Hospital, Kilmainham, Dublin. Now, pensioners' diet. I'm not going to read out for you folks, so just take a look. Here's some of the medals. The British Army medals. Philip Allworth, Frederick Bennett, Patrick Burns, Patrick Carroll, Thomas Kavanagh, wow, that's my last name, James Darcy. These are all the guys that won medals. Pensioners' Library. Doctors and nurses. Maybe a distant relative, yeah. Actually, he spelt it with a C. I spelled mine with a K. The scarlet coat, tricorn hat, the dark blue coat, and Shako. Shako. During the 22 years he was in my possession. So this horse was in possession of Lord Roberts. And during the 22 years he was in my possession, he travelled with me over 50,000 miles. It was never sick nor sorry. How about that? Horses are great. The Royal Hospital, Chelsea, 2008. All right, folks, we get out of here. Hope you enjoyed taking a look inside, showing you the history of the Royal Kilmainham Hospital. Now, we're going to bring you around and show you some sculptures. There's some really nice sculptures. Sculptures. How do you say it? Here's the church. Look, and they're beautiful. Now, beyond that church is this absolutely phenomenal gardens, which we're going to go to in probably about 5 or 10 minutes. It really is fabulous. You're very welcome. Who said thank you? Let me get back in here to chat. You're very welcome, Terry and Ronnie. That was great. Thank you very much. Yeah, as I say, lots of concerts take place here and other activities. They even have wedding ceremonies here in the courtyard. It really is nice. You're welcome, Natalie. Glad you enjoyed it. There's usually a coffee truck outside here. Where is it? I think you have to go inside to get your coffee now. Maybe it's not open. The coffee shop probably maybe isn't around during the winter, just during the finer weather months. Who knows? Garden galleries. So there's a number of really nice sculptures here on location. General's office. Adjutant General's office. So this sculpture right here, have a look at it, it's pretty cool. It's called Beneath the Bowl. Sculpted by Michael Warren in 1991, created from Irish oak and Corten steel. This sculpture defies gravity. Warren, the sculptor, suggests that the sculpture should be read from the top down, as most of the activity is towards the bottom of the work. That's pretty neat. We have some other nice statues throughout the area here. I think around here is what would have been stables at one time. Or lodgings. Looks like more like stables. This is a really cool sculpture right here. Look. This is called, can you see it, folks? Because the sun's in our eyes. Might be able to see it too well. But this is called, the sun's in my eyes as it's going. I should have come up from a different angle. It's called the Drumming Hair. Have a look at this, folks. The Drumming Hair. I'll show it you from a different angle. Hopefully the sun's not in our way. It's a Drumming Hair. This is one of a series of works on the same theme which have been exhibited worldwide. A series of the works was erected on temporary exhibition in O'Connell Street and Parnell Square in the late 1990s. And the hair can be seen engaging in many activities, including dance, sport, and music. And the hair is playing the drums. Let me give you a look at it from a different angle. Fáilte, welcome, the Irish language. Fáilte. There you go. The drumming hair, folks. Barry Flanagan, 1996. That is a wonderful sculpture. What do you think, folks? And a nice backdrop with the blue skies. It's starting to warm up considerably right now. A lot of times in the evening or the late afternoon, it's warmer than it is at midday. Warmer late afternoon than it is during midday, which is amazing. It was very interesting. Thank you, Sandy. Cool, says Ronnie. I don't know if I'm supposed to go on the grass here, but look, I'm breaking all the rules today. Let's just do it. This is the bust of Dorothy Walker by Oisin Kelly. The bust of Dorothy Walker, 1954. This bronze bust is in Kilkenny limestone. It's a tribute to Walker, who was born in 1929, died in 2002, a great promoter of Irish art and artists. And she was an art critic, curator, cultural ambassador, and supported many young artists in their development. Alice. So her name was Dorothy Walker. The bloody sun is getting in the way again. There we go, there's a better bust of her from a side angle. A better photograph of her. Oisin Kelly. Oisin Kelly, if you've ever seen my my tour of the great landmarks of Dublin's north inner city, you will see a sculpture of the Children of Lear by Oisin Kelly as well. Tony Craig. This is untitled, this bronze. It's nice though. It's one of a series of works based on scientific laboratory vessels. The artist presents the dynamic of the vessel in an upright position and lying on its side. This piece was loaned to the museum by the Wellkunst Foundation in 1984. How about that? I like it a lot. Excuse me. Oh, here's a nice one right here. Beneath the Bow, I believe this is called, by Michael Warren. Is it? I believe it's called Beneath the Bow. Sculpture Michael Warren, 19... No, that's the one I just showed you earlier, wasn't it? Oh, this is the Ark, sorry, the Ark. And it's a sculpture by Bernard Vincent, 2008. This work is in Corten steel. It's a loan from the artist. And he repeats the Ark 12 times. Repeats the Ark 12 times, how about that? His work with a similar angle theme can be seen in Berlin and Nice. There you go. Berlin and Nice also. His work can be seen. His name is Bernard Vincent. B-A, or not Bernard, Barnard Vincent. There you go. So we just have one more sculpture before we go into the beautiful formal gardens here at the Royal Kilmainham Hospital. Rules are to be broken. Yes, indeed. I sneak into places all the time. And now, there's certain places like that are run by the OPW, which is the Office of Public Works, that look after all the parks and all the castles. Well, most of the castles and most of the heritage buildings. It's really difficult to try and film in them places, but anywhere else. Now, a lot of times I will ask beforehand, but you know, if you're just here at the time, it's spontaneous. You just go in. Luckily, in that the history of the Royal Kilmainham Hospital, the room we went into, there was nobody around. How about this? Look at the backdrop there of the lovely fields here at Kilmainham Hospital, the grounds of Kilmainham Hospital. This is called the Sentinel the 8th. This cast bronze work was created by Catherine Lee, an American artist. There you go. In 1999. There you go. Beautiful, says Terry. Terry is so positive. Always says positive things. Fair play to you. Trees are not in bloom yet. But the garden we're going into now, the trees aren't in bloom, as I said. Have a look at the chapel again, folks. The church. It's lovely. So, this wasn't up the last time. The last time I did this tour was, I think, in February of last year, when Hago was still going. I probably didn't do that many tours after that, because as I say, closed down on April the 11th, I think it was, the Hago closed down. But this is one of the last tours that I did, so I haven't done it since. But these are the beautiful formal gardens. They're absolutely gorgeous. Check them out here, folks. Yeah, the arc sculpture was amazing, honey, absolutely. This is one of the formal gardens. Wouldn't this thing have to be in the way? Hold on a second. Let me get over. The formal gardens of the Royal Hospital Kilmainham. Let's read it here, folks. The formal gardens, which was also known as the Master's Garden. Well, you can look at it while I read it. The formal garden, which was also known as the Master's Garden, lies below the North Terrace on the Royal Hospital's principal front and forms an important feature of the overall design. The hospital minutes of 1695 note the garden walls to be arranged so that the garden may lie open to the north part for the greatest grace of the house. Over the years, gardens by their very nature change, and we know that the Royal Hospital garden not only changed but was also periodically neglected. In restoring such early gardens, one of the difficulties is in the inclusive nature of I lost what I was reading. Restoring such gardens, one of the difficulties is the inclusive nature of historical evidence. The minute books of the Royal Hospital refer to planned works, but it is not always clear that all the works were even ever carried out, or to which of the 3 gardens which once occupied the site they refer. Old maps indicate significant changes to the former gardens where there is no specific information of the origin design. So the original, it dates back to, I think, 1695, and in the early 1990s it was decided to restore the gardens. The ideal classic layout for a garden, published by John Evelyn in 1664. So 1664 were the original gardens by John Evelyn, and was considered to be the close to its original layout. So 1990 it was restored to its former glory, or former splendour, if you like, from the original gardens of 1664. Let's take a wander around these gardens, folks. And you know, it's not even springtime yet. Or maybe it is early spring. But still, the layout is beautiful. Looks spectacular. So the formal gardens, also known as the Master Gardens. It's gorgeous, says Sandy, yes. This is very positive feedback, folks. I'm liking it a lot. Get excited. So it's original classic design by John Evelyn, it's like 1664. Today the gardens are considered to be close to the original layout. The phases of the restoration was initiated in the late 1980s to develop the garden three-dimensional features, and work began in the garden house, the walls, the paths, the structural planting of the hedges, topiary and pleach trees, and the fountain. So there's a lovely little fountain down there too. And the entrance steps and terrace. The third and final phase developed the Historia planting, including training structures for espalier trees along the walls. Beautiful layout. I could spend all day in the beautiful gardens like this, Sarah says. This is great. Satcham says beautiful as well. Look. Lovely, says Natalie. It's gorgeous, says Sandy. Yeah, it's beautiful. Let's take a wander around. I don't have that much more to say about these gardens, but to view them is really nice. They've got these lovely urns here as well. Do you call them urns or vases? Vases? Urns we call them, right, don't you? That's really nice. They're beautiful. Beautiful urns. Of course, coming soon, probably the end of March or so, early April, I'll be going back to the Powerscourt House and Gardens, the third most beautiful gardens in the world in County Wicklow. Absolutely stunning. Some of you may have been on them. Urns. Yeah, urns is money. Yeah. So I don't know if some of you may have been on my tour of the Powerscourt House and Gardens in County Wicklow. It's absolutely stunning. Herbaceous border and the Italian gardens, the walled gardens, the rose garden, the Japanese gardens, all in one area. And it just really is stunning. Then they have a beautiful tree-lined avenue and a pepper pot tower. So it really is extraordinary. And we'll go back there probably sometime in April, early April or late March. Hope you can join me for that. I've done it many times before. That's why I'm sure some of you may remember it. Yes, I think there was there also with you. I do remember if you were, Natalie. It really is stunning. It's beautiful. Here's the old house. The gates are closed because you could actually, there's some posters in there we could have read, but no, it's closed. How dare they close it? Did no one tell them I was coming? Anybody want to get in for a dip? So folks, I'm coming near the end of the tour. Yeah, Terry. Bet this is pretty in bloom, yeah, for sure. The corridor part looks Frenchish. Probably is. A lot of the gardens would be based on French and Italian designs. As I said, I'm coming near close to the end of the tour. Now, I do have in the description of this tour my PayPal account, my PayPal link, if you want to donate to this tour. If you enjoyed it, I'd much appreciate it if you can donate a few shillings. Or you can buy me a coffee, folks, because my buy me a coffee link is also in the description. And I loves me coffee. And a nice cookie goes well with the coffee as well. So if you can do that, I'd really, really appreciate it if you can leave a donation. I've no tour tomorrow. I've actually got a couple of meetings. I'm actually meeting a guy that's starting a new tour business, and he's gonna have me as his Dublin tour guide when he launches it, and he's gonna launch it really soon. So I have a meeting with him, setting up the whole OTA online tour agency. So he's going to attract people from all over the world, come to Dublin through his website, featuring yours truly to show them around Dublin City. Get excited. And then I'm actually meeting in the afternoon. That's in the morning. I got a meeting with this guy that's setting up the new website. And then afterwards, in the afternoon, I am meeting, and you'll probably remember them, Hazel and Janet. Janet did tours in the west coast of Ireland, the Cliffs of Moher, all around that area. And then Hazel did tours here in Dublin and Wicklow with me. And we actually travelled around the country as well and did tours. So I haven't seen them in about a year since Hazel closed. I really haven't seen them in a long time. So we're meeting for a cup of coffee to discuss our plans for the summer, or for the tourist season. I better get my August tour booked then. There you go, Terry. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Satyam. Did you say you had a subscription link? Where can we donate a certain amount every month? No, I don't do that. It's just every tour. You can buy me a coffee, or you can send a donation on my PayPal link. I don't do subscriptions because I've no idea how many tours I'm going to do. Come the summertime, I mightn't be able to do too many tours. Last summer, I don't think I did any at all. I was so busy. I was doing 3 in-person walking tours a day. Well, some days, 2 and 3 a day. So, I was really kept busy, so I didn't have time to do any. But, yeah, Hazel and Janet, the 3 Musketeers. Dave, Hazel, Janet. Very good running yet. So, yeah, I am meeting them tomorrow for a cup of coffee. And we'll have some fun. Now, come on, what day is this? On Thursday, I'm out in the Phoenix Park. It's actually literally about a quarter of a mile from here. It's literally across the road from here is the Phoenix Park. So I'm doing a tour of the Phoenix Park, which is the largest enclosed or walled park in Europe with 1,750 acres. It's absolutely beautiful. There's 300 herd of deer. The Dublin Zoo is there as well. Irish Fenughtron, which is the house of the President of Ireland. And the American Embassy is there as well. There's lovely parks, lovely layout, lovely grounds, lovely football fields, and everything else. There's even the oldest cricket club in Ireland is there as well, dating back to 1830. So I hope you can join me for that. And that is, as I say, thanks Natalie, I will. I hope you can join me for that on Thursday. And then come Friday, I'm going to be in Ballsbridge. Ballsbridge is about 2 kilometres from Dublin City. And it is Dublin's most exclusive neighbourhood. Multi-million-dollar homes. There is lots and lots of embassies. I think there's 18 of the world's embassies are in the Ballsbridge area. The place is just stunning. There's also a lovely park called Herbert Park, which we'll go into as well. There's a natural tree trail there as well. Some of the oldest trees in Ireland are located right there in Herbert Park. But there's some stunning homes around the area as well, which will show you some of those and tell you the history of the area. It's known for the RDS, the Royal Dublin Society, which is a big a venue. It's I think it takes up to like 400 kilometres or 400, what is it, I forget, 400 acres or something. It takes up the RDS. The Dublin Horse Show takes place there. Lots of other events, arts and crafts shows, the travel show, all kinds of different shows. Takes place in the main hall there in the RDS, the Royal Dublin Society. So you're going to see all that come this Friday. As I say, this Thursday, the Phoenix Park, absolutely stunning park, which is the largest walled park, enclosed park, if you like, in Europe. Now, it's not the largest park in Europe. It's the largest enclosed walled park. But it is stunning. I hope you can join me for that. And as I say, that's about all I got for you. Also, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, I'd very much appreciate it if you could do so. That would be absolutely fantastic. And also, if you wish to share this tour or share my channel even to any of your friends and family, especially those that might be interested in coming to Ireland or coming to Dublin or traveling around, or even if it's on their bucket list and maybe they have no future plans to come here, but maybe in a few years' time or whatever, send it on to them. Send on my channel tell them to subscribe to my channel, and you can watch 190 videos that I have on there. So 190 videos. I'm getting very close to the 1,000. I think I'm at, I don't know, 920 something. So I'm getting close to 1,000. Hopefully I'll be able to do it by maybe sometime next month. It's a slow burner trying to get 1,000 subscribers, because they don't accept everybody. YouTube does not accept every subscriber, because you have to have watched one of the tours or watched at least 10 minutes of a tour to be considered to be a subscriber. So if someone's never watched my show before and they just subscribed, they'll add it right away, but then they'll take it away because they'll see that you haven't engaged or watched any of the tours. Edward Delaney, gift of Jack and Agnes Toohey, restored with the support of the Heritage Council and Goethe Institute. He actually did some of the famine, the one in St Stephen's Green Park. Edward Delaney, he has the memorial to the famine memorial in St Stephen's Green Park, sculptors of the famine. All right, folks, that's all I got for you. As I said before, if you enjoyed the tour today, I very much appreciate all those that left a nice contribution yesterday, donation. Very, very, very appreciative. And also on Sunday, those that left a donation, I very, very much appreciate it. Now, if you wish to leave a donation today, that'd be also very much appreciated. And as I said before, the links are in the description to buy me a coffee, and also my PayPal link. And as I say, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. Very much appreciate that if you could do that. All right, folks, leave you and love you. Thanks very much. Have a wonderful evening. You too, Terry. Yeah, that poignant famine one. Yeah, you remember that, Ronnie? It's in St Stephen's Green. Okay, folks. Slán leat agus go raibh míle maith agat. Thank you so much, folks. We'll see you soon. Have a great day. And thank you for coming on.